Ganesh Chaturthi. So we pray Ganesh, so everything will go without any vignas. So before the start the session, just I will have a guidelines. Please mute yourself when you are not speaking, and you can unmute yourself and ask questions, or you can put your questions on chat in a Q&A sessions. I am Ashok Basutkar, the director of BVI Floating Club. Today MC for today's event. Happiness and success both depends on your ability to give, said by Shri Shri Ravi Shankar ji. Our Bhavsar Vijayan Foundation established on the same vision, with a vision of sharing, that is friendship, service, and leadership to uplift our community. Now I request BVI founder Shri Narendra Tataskarji to call out our BVI Foundation National President Srimati Jayashree N. Tataskarji. Thank you, sir. Now I request all the governors and president of all the clubs to call out yourself. Thank you, all of you. Now I request National President call the meeting to order.
Meeting called to order.
Thank you, madam. Everything happens with the grace of divine. Today, we express our gratitude to divine power by chanting Gayatri Mantra. Now I request Kumari Meghana Dayapalle to recite Gayatri Mantra. Meghana.
Sagla Janal Namaskar. Om. 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 Om Bhurbhuvasvaha Tatsaviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimai Diyo Yona Prachodayat. Om Bhurbhuvasvaha Tatsaviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimai Diyo Yona Prachodayat. Om Bhurbhuvasvaha Tatsaviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimai Diyo Yona Prachodayat. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Thank you.
Thank you, Meghana. Now I request Mr.Manohar Bodke, the President, BVI Floating Club, to deliver welcome speech.
Thank you, Ashok. First of all, respected founder, sir, Shri Narendra sir, Tataskarji, BVI National President, Srimati Jayashree I. Tataskarji, BVI National Secretary, Mr. Satish Jadavji, today's chief guest and speaker, Mr. Jayant Maini ji, BVI Foundation Trust Chairman, Sri K.V. Rao-ji. I think soon K.V. Rao sir will join us. Oh, he's here. Namaste, sir.
In USA,
BVI Floating Club Chairman, Sri Dr. Satvik Randolji, BVI President-elect, Nitya Bhakti Sadhana Chairman, Sri Srinivas Devaleji, all past national presidents, national board members, national executive committee members, all governors, president, and all dignitaries, and my fellow BVI Floating Club board members. Ladies and gentlemen, good evening to all of you. BVI Floating Club welcomes all of you to the 4th talk show. Under the guidance of BVI visionaries, BVI focused on bringing successful individuals, leaders, entrepreneurs to this talk show to enable people to get inspired, learn, apply, and grow in their career. Today is a special day for BVI Floating Club because this is the first talk show after BVI Floating Club officially inaugurated this year. We are very proud and happy to share that our first session is from a leader who is known for changing people's lives. He has achieved many awards and leadership positions in his career. He is none other than Mr. Jayant Maini, sir. He is here. Thank you, sir, for joining here. And thank you for accepting our invitation and willing to share your success journey with all of us. We all read a lot of books and hear a lot of speeches. And great leaders, one or the other way, they show gratitude to the sessions or the talk shows. They hear some lines in the talk shows which cause their life to take a different turn from that moment. So I'm hoping Mr. Jayanti's success story will inspire us and will light spark in some of us, enable us to weave the career with new perspective and become success in their life. We, BVI Floating Club, conducting these talk shows with this motive. Since BVI Floating Club recently inaugurated, there are a few great leaders and visionaries joined the club. I will take this opportunity to welcome them. Sri Dattatreya Gopalrao Basutkarji, retired medical professional. Sri Arvind Gopalrao Basutkarji, retired registrar at Mumbai High Court. Mr. Vithal Jadavji, Head of Medicine Department at University Hospitals of Leicester, UK. Mr. Prashant Tapse, VP Mehta Equities Limited, Mumbai. Thank you, sir, for joining BVI Floating Club and extending your service to the community. Looking forward to work closely with all of you to serve the community. With this, I'll end. Thank you very much. Over to you, Ashok.
Thank you, Manohar. Today's topic is success story. A successful person has the following qualities according to the great personalities: a smile that doesn't die, patience, a fearless mind, self-confidence, and love for everybody. Success is a journey, not a destination. Okay. Without much delay, I request Mr. K.V. Rauji, BA Foundation Chairman, to kick off the meeting.
Good evening to everybody. I'm sorry I'm not properly dressed for the occasion because I've been traveling from early morning, 6 o'clock. I just reached the hotel just about 5 minutes back. Anyway, thank you very much for inviting me to grace this occasion. And I'm privileged and honored to ask me to say a few words on this occasion. My dear Founder Sahab, Sri Narayan Rao Tatuskarji, National President, Mrs. Tatuskarji, National Secretary, BVI Foundation Secretary, all governors, trustees, president of BVI Club, and of course, I would appreciate the 14 Club office bearers who have been very actively conducting one talk show after another one. Well, this morning I spoke to Mr. Manoj. I asked him, yeah, you wanted me to speak on some preamble. I asked him, what is it that you're expecting out of me? What should I speak? So he gave an idea that I should speak on what the talk show is, what is the impact, what is the influence, how do we move forward with these talk shows. These talk shows are a little different from the speeches, because speeches, one comes prepared, one comes written. Some people read it out of the paper, out of their laptops, or out of their iPhones, or whatever it is. but the talk shows are spontaneous. The talk show dates back of almost about 2 decades or 3 decades ago when the talk shows started. We all know Humphrey Wilfrey, who is the best talk show presenter in the world. And out of talk shows, she has earned more than $3 billion. That is about 2,700 crore rupees. And her income every year is about $300 million. So that is the value, and that is the concept, that is the power of talk shows. Even in India, certain talk shows are very popular. If I would recall, we used to have a talk show, Rendezvous with Simi Agarwal. So, Simi Agarwal. So it was about the celebrities. And we have had Satyameva Jayante with Amir Khan, right? And recently we have been watching and appreciating the talk show by Coffee with Karan by Karan Johar. So these are the talk shows which has become so popular nowadays because these talk shows can be structured in an area. It can be either news, it can be entertainment, it can be politics, it can be motivational speeches. So, or it can be on sports. So it can be various categories of talk shows. When we started the talk show, that was the idea. The idea was our
airbags, because one's the manual, but apart.
Hello? Hello?
Yes, sir, we can hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. So when we started this talk show concept in the floating club, when we started, the idea was we ourselves at Bhausas, we never knew that we have such great talent, such great potential available in the Bhausar. So idea was to expose what is the talent and what is the power of Bhausas available in the community. So accordingly, I think this could be this is the fourth talk show being organized by the BVI Foundation. The purpose of the talk show is, as I would say, each successful person has a different success or failure story. It is not the same story of everyone. So idea is to imbibe these success stories or failure stories so that you can imbibe into your life and which will have an impact on your life and which will influence your life so that you can choose a different path, change your path, or change your lifestyle to achieve a greater success in your life. So this was the basic concept when we started this talk show in the BVI Floating Club. Of course, we are now having this talk show in other BVI platforms as well. Now, a lot of people have benefited out of this talk show because there's a great impact, there's a great influence on talk. So last time also,
Unmute yourself.
hello, can you hear me? Okay. Last time also we had Mr. P.N. Rao coming on the stage and speaking about our own DNA, because we always used to say tailoring, we need to get out of it. We have to get into something. But here's a man who has done our own DNA business and he has grown and the brand is well acclaimed and well established in the garment industry. So this is what we get to know about the talk show. We want people to know who are the Bhausas who are successful and how they have been successful, what has been every successful man or a successful woman has his or her own failures. So the failures are also a stepping stone to success. So once they tell us about their failures, we get to know how they have reached certain areas of success. Well, today morning, when Mr. Mohan, I asked Mr. Manohar, what is the time period? So for you, there's no time period. You can speak as long as you want. Then I remembered Mr. V.K. Krishnamenon. He spoke, I mean, he still holds the world's longest record of speaking continuously 8 hours at United Nations, right? So I thought I can also go ahead and speak for, break his record. I'm just joking. I'm just joking. Okay. Now, what I would suggest to Mr. Manohar and the Floating Club members to make these talk shows more aggressive, more empowering, more meaningful. I think people would love and interact and participate much better if there is a sort of from the beginning, a question and answer sessions, like most of the talk shows, what I told. Okay, because then what happens is not only the guest speaker, the host also has to be ready to understand what is the personality of the talk show, because the talk show evolves around the personality of the person who is the host, and he is the trademark of the talk show. So if you can slightly change this concept of delivering the talk show by question and answer this thing, and having question and answer from the audience subsequently, that will, I think, be more interesting for the people to attend. That's my idea. That's what we have seen all over the world. For the talk shows have become very successful when it becomes spontaneous. One has to get a feeling that the talk shows are spontaneous. Okay, but that is the difference between the speech and the talk show. So anyway, I'm very happy and very honored to be here on this platform, especially since my Mr. Jayant Maini, the gracious, the very proud of me and my family. He is our son-in-law and my daughter's husband. I'm very happy to see on the Bausar stage delivering his talk about success and failures in life. Well, Mr. Jayant, thank you very much for accepting the invitation and accepting the invitation of the founder. I believe founder has spoken to you and you readily accepted. I'm very thankful. I know you are a great speaker. You will really motivate the people around you, people around on this platform. So everybody is very eager to look forward to hearing you. I don't want to take much longer time. Thank you very much. Take care. Wish you all the best. Thanks a lot to everybody. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for throwing a light on difference between a talk show and a speech. We'll implement your suggestions going forward. Now I request Srimati Anita Savardai, the director of BVI Floating Club, to introduce the speakers.
Good evening, everyone. I'm very much privileged to introduce Mr. Jayant Maini. Jayant Maini is an experienced entrepreneur, leader with a demonstrated history of working in the health, wellness, and fitness industry. He's the founder of Totally Fit, a community dedicated to make India totally fit, and is currently on a mission to help 1 lakh people this year. He's also a member of the prestigious President's team and a recipient of 1 million volume Lifetime Achievement Award at the Herbalife Nutrition. After graduating from the Institute of Hotel Management, Catering Technology and Applied Nutrition, he worked with leading hotel chains in India. He's a certified health and wellness coach from California Institute of Integral Studies and has an MBA from Symbiosis Institute of Management Studies. He has dedicated his 21 years to health and wellness industry and is known for changing people's life. He is a dedicated father and has passion for sports. He's an avid traveler and a movie buff. We welcome sir, for the talk so that you can share your success story.
Thank you, Anitaji, for a nice introduction of the speaker. Take a risk in your life. If you win, you can lead. If you lose, you can guide others. Quoted by Swami Vivekananda ji. Today, sir, we are very lucky to have in our today's session, and we're grateful for that. And you took a time to address Bhavsar families to share your success of journey. Sir, stage is yours now.
Thank you, Ashokji. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, I would like to express my gratitude to Mr. Tatoskar, the BVI founder. So thank you so much. You are an inspiration to us, and I've had the privilege of meeting you on many occasions, and all of them have been wonderful occasions. And when I received that congratulations message from you, it in itself was a high point for me, because whatever award I received was very, very tiny in terms of your impact and your achievement. So it really means a lot to receive a message from you and to be invited to speak in front of such a special gathering. So my respect and gratitude to all the leaders here, Srimati Joy Shri Narayan Rao Tatoskar ji ma'am. Always a privilege to meet you, and this time it is virtual, but I'm sure there will be times we will meet in person as well. My respect in regards to Shri Satish Jadhav ji, Mr. K.V. Rao, thank you, and I'm privileged and fortunate to be able to call you dad at the same time. So thank you for being there for me all the time. A big thank you to all the other dignitaries. Dr. Satvik, Shri Manohar. Manohar ji, thank you so much. I've been troubling you at odd hours, and you've really taken care of me. And to Mr. Praveen and the chairman-elect for 2022, Shri Srinivas Dable ji, and all the other dignitaries. So what can I say? When I received this invitation, since that time I have been like this little boy who is looking at a clear night sky, and I can see stars, because everyone in this special gathering is a star, and at this little boy who's always looking up in the sky, and your achievements are absolutely tremendous. And I hope that in my lifetime I'll be able to do a little bit of what all of you have managed to achieve. So I think, and the fact that you've invited me to come in and share some of my life experience is in itself greatness at your end, because I really look up to all you wonderful people and leaders. It's really amazing. So as I was preparing as this little excited boy, what would I share from my life journey? What is the lesson that I can share? And I decided just to share my life journey, because, I remember in one of my earlier meetings with Shri K.V. Rao, and, when I had just met Preeti and I had gone to meet him formally, we were not married at that time. One of the things that he told me was, life is full of drama. Without drama, there is no fun in life. So, I hope there is some drama of my life which I can share and, you can relate to. May I have the permission to just share a few slides, just a few pictures that I'd like to share of my life story. So if I would have that permission, it would be of help. So I've spent a few years working, but really I've spent the last 40 plus years in my own way designing my life. My belief is, I believe that, the life we live is the life we design. So it's really up to us. There are two options we have in life. Either we can design our life, or we can follow the life, we can follow whatever life has designed for us. And I somewhere believe that I would like to design my own life. And I think I've had this from a very, very young time. So I think still either you'll have to put me as a co-host or give me a screen share option if that works.
Srinivasji, can you check if you can give permission to Jayant?
Thank you, Manoj.
Yeah, I think you are co-host.
I think I now have the option to share. So is the screen clear? Just a confirmation.
Yeah,
thank you. So, I was wondering where to start, and I thought let me start from the very beginning. This is me when I was born, and that is me with my parents. So I believe from a very young age, I started to dream. And I think dreams are really, really important in life, because if you dream, it comes true. So I do believe dreams come true, and I always grew up in an environment where I was told to dream, and nothing was off limits. You could dream big. I learned from my parents and the others around me that it's good to dream, and it's good to dream big. And that is something that I started very early. So when I was very, very young, I remember I must have been as old as my son, who's just 6 years old. I'd gone to my parents and I asked them, I want to have a good life. Can you please tell me what should I do that I can have a good life? At that stage, for me, a good life was I should be having a chance to play. I should be able to chance to do the things I want to do, eat the foods I want to do, and just have fun. So my parents really sat me down, and I think like most Indian families, they sat me down and they kind of gave me a plan. And I am very, very good at following plans. So the plan that my parents gave me, they said, Jayant, if you want to do well in life, you need to study hard. You need to do well in your academics, play as well. So that was the first thing I got. They said, then you work hard and then you get a good job and then you can really be successful. So that is the life plan I got, which I know is very, very common for most people around us. And I think I followed the plan very, very well. So, this is the beginning of the plan. My parents said, do well. I really, really took them very seriously. I just hope sometimes my son would take me as seriously as I took my parents. So, here you can see me as a young child doing well in sport, doing well in academics. And I was very, very happy. And I think at least I feel so, and I'll have to ask my parents that if I made them proud or not. So that was the plan I was following, and trust me. So sometimes the things we say, कुछ चीजें ऐसी होती हैं जो हम बोल देते हैं, और हमारे आसपास लोग और people who look up to us take it very seriously, and I took it very seriously, and I'm glad I took this advice from my parents very, very seriously. And so the first almost 20 years of my life, I kept working on this. I did well in school, but in between there is something very interesting happened. Normally, when it is summer holidays, children go in and go for a holiday. My parents were from the armed forces. So we used to travel, we used to live outside. So we used to come home to our grandparents and, stay there. And quite often, I would like to visit my uncle and aunt, my bua and her husband. They lived in Bareilly. And then it became almost like a tradition for me. And I am talking about when I was in class 6th, 7th, 8th. So in class 6th, 7th, 8th, they were dealers and distributors for watches. And somehow I realized that I was really, really interested in business. So I remember I was there for the opening of their shop. I was one of the designated salesperson in the shop. And those were my first lessons of being around business. And I think the fact that their store, they were a very, very famous name in the watch business in North India. And I actually requested them to send me a picture of the store. So this is actually the real watch store. I used to sit on one of these counters behind and spend my summer holidays. So that is where I realized that possibly, and I still did not know it, but somewhere I was feeling very comfortable. So I would spend my summer holidays in Bareilly, and I would come to Delhi where my maternal family or my maternal grandparents lived. And jab main Delhi aata tha, I used to go and sit in my brother's, my cousin brother's garment factory. So I think I always had that interest to do something of my own. मैं अपना कुछ करना चाहता था. I did not maybe say it openly, but I think deep inside it was there. But I kept following the plan my parents gave me. You know, my parents gave me the plan to do well, and I kept doing well. And this is an interesting thing. You know, when I finished class 12, there were lots of options. I got through. My father's a doctor by profession from the Armed Forces Medical College, and I got through the entrance exam in the Armed Forces Medical College. I got through the Armed Forces. I got through NDA after class 12. Then I also got through software engineering. And then I sat down, and my fourth option was to study hotel management. And I have to confess why I chose hotel management, because I sat down and I looked at medicine, and I have tremendous regard. Both my parents are doctors. And somewhere I thought that if I start to do medicine, you know, I will have to study 5 years in MBBS and then do a specialization and then super specialization. So by the time I even think of so-called settling down, I would be 40 years of age, and that is not something that really excited me. Numbers don't really excite me, so I said no to software engineering. Not being a part of the armed forces has definitely been a loss for me, but you know, I was privileged to grow up in the armed forces environment. And then the fourth option for me was to study hotel management, and I really jumped at that opportunity, and I'll tell you why. Because it was only a 3-year program, and I realized that I'll finish my studies in 3 years and I would be off to working. And so if there are any young people listening in, sometimes getting in a rush is not a good thing. You know, it's okay if you take a little bit longer, but do it right. But fortunately for me, I did it right. I did exceptionally well in my college. Other than, you know, when I went into hotel school, I thought I will be a good chef. And I think everyone in my family, my wife, my mother-in-law can swear by it that I'm no good in the kitchen. So, you know, they would not really, I can be a great host, but I'm not sure I can cook very well. So I think, but our family is blessed with some wonderful, like my mother-in-law is really, really exceptional with the way she cooks, and we all love. And every time we gain weight after a visit to eating mom's food is that. So I didn't do well in that, but in all the other subjects I did well, and I stood first in the country. So I kept following my parents' plan, and you know, I did that. And as I did that a little more, I went in. These are some initial pictures of my early hotel days. I was 19 years of age, and I was managing a big 5-star hotel. And I really used to manage the entire hotel at that point of time. Especially, you know, I was mostly designated as the night manager, and I managed everything. It was a great learning experience. And it was really, really a wonderful platform for me to learn about how to be with people, how to take care of people, how to satisfy their needs. And it was a wonderful experience. But I wanted something more in my life at that time. So my first experience of starting my own business was in this. When you see me in this picture, I was 19 and a half. And at that time, because of my previous interest in watches, I decided in a discussion with my uncle and my parents, I decided to start a watch business part-time. So, you know, that was my first experience in doing business. And it was wonderful. I think It was wonderful because it taught me many lessons. Needless to say that I borrowed money from my dad. I invested that money, and as soon as I invested, I lost it as well. So that was something which was very interesting for me at that stage. But luckily for me, I did not get discouraged. You know, मैंने अभी and I'm talking 2000 साल की बात कर रहा हूँ, and I took money from dad, and I think I lost about 15 lakh rupees at that time. And luckily for me, we all took it as a learning experience. And that is what is very, very important. So it's good to fail, actually. I know there are so many leading organizations, corporations, commando teams, where they don't take you if you've never failed in life. And I think that is a very, very important lesson. And I think, and a lot in my life, I have a lot of examples that I take. And a lot of my learning has been looking at how commando units operate, because, in business, if we go right or go wrong, it's about money and it's about finances. But if these guys go right or go wrong, it's a question of life. And sometimes, and most of the time, it's always about life in balance. So it's really been a great lesson for me looking at that. So I learned my first lesson. And I think if I look back in now, I think the fact that I always was dedicated in my academics taught me how to be diligent. And I think that is something that has helped me in my professional career and my business career thereafter. The fact that I was working with people taught me how to understand people's expectations and try and deal with them and look after people. And I think that was a very, very good grooming school, if I can say so, for me. And the fact that I lost money in business at a very young age was also a great lesson for me. So, and after this, I kept looking. I did not stop looking. I, in fact, kept looking. And fortunately for me, I was wiser when I had to choose an opportunity that came to my life next time. And this is a picture I picked up, and this is an important message, and I truly believe that when the student is ready, the teacher shall appear. So the gentleman on my left, but to the extreme right in the picture, is my uncle. He's now 90 years of age. He's the one in whose watch business I really learned and actually did my apprenticeship of sitting there. So because I was ready, and sometimes you can be ready at an early age. So I think if you have people around you who are showing their interest, and I think it's good to encourage, and I want to congratulate what you do here is really, really encouraging people to do well and do better in whatever profession they choose. And I think that's an amazing thing to do. So my uncle was my first influence, and the other uncle who's on the left, extreme left in the picture, was the first one to encourage me to do another business after I had lost money. In fact, he was the first one to tell me that I'm going to lose that money. Because after I made the investment, I went up to him and I said, Uncle, I'm very excited. I've started a new business. And he says, Jen, great job. But when he understood a little more about the business, and he's very straight with me, which is great, he told me, Jen, I have a feeling you're going to lose this entire money. But no problem. That's part of life. So that was the thing. And he has been my mentor since then. So I'm really, really grateful to people around me. And one of the messages that if I can share with everyone is there are enough people, and when I was getting started, I did not have talk shows like this or the BVI Foundation supporting with such a wonderful initiative. I think the younger people and new people who are starting off on their entrepreneurial journey have tremendous advantages. But I think sometimes when you need help, all you need to do is ask. Sometimes when you need advice, all you need to do is ask. And fortunately for me, I asked and I went to the right people and I got support and I did that. And thereafter, things were great. And this was a turning point in my life. And I know the speaker before me spoke about life-changing. And I just want to share my personal philosophy about life-changing events and life-changing moments. When you look at your entire life, there are very few selected moments that a person can maybe call life-changing. I think when we grew up, many of us didn't have the opportunity to choose what school we will study in. Maybe at a later stage, we got the opportunity maybe to choose what subjects we would like to select. So maybe that is one big decision. You can choose what study, what subjects you would like to choose, what profession you would like to go in, who you would like to be your life partner. Well, for many people, that hasn't been a choice as well. And then maybe you can choose how many children you would want and a few more things in life. So for me, those life-changing decisions are very few that you will take in your entire life. But I think the success in life is built on the small decisions we take on a daily basis. The things we do on a day-to-day basis either lead you to success or slowly keep moving you away from success. And if my wife Preeti was here, she would say, this is exactly what I say lifestyle is about. It's the way you live your life. And it's the way we take our decisions. It's the way we take the small decisions on a day-to-day basis. And I like to call them winning decisions or losing decisions. So the small decisions you take in your life and do it on a day-to-day basis that lead you towards your goal are the winning decisions. And those small decisions that one takes in life, जो कभी-कभी हमें थोड़ा सा हमारे गोल से दूर ले जाते हैं, is what I call losing decisions. और अगर लाइफ के इवेंचुअल स्कोर कार्ड को हम देखें, अगर आपके विनिंग डिसीजंस ज्यादा होंगे, you will eventually get what you want in life. So for me, this one moment was actually, I can call a life-changing moment. And I was 20 years of age. I still remember 25th of January 2000, I was invited to take a look at Herbalife, and I saw so many people talk about their success with the company and how they were living well. And I was very inspired with the person who invited me to look at it. And the reason for that is Rodney was 35 years of age, and Rodney said to me on that day, Jayant, Herbalife has given me a chance to design my own life. I can now do the things I want to do, and I've been able to eliminate the have-tos in my life. And that sounded like a plan. And that is what excited me. So one of the things is sometimes when the right opportunity for you knocks at your door, don't be busy saying no to it or looking at somewhere else. A lot of times I know whatever it is, a life-changing opportunity presents your way and you're very busy doing something else. So I think one of the key things for every entrepreneur or who wants to be an entrepreneur, in my opinion, is to be open when the opportunity presents itself. And I've had many stories from many people, and I very fondly remember a story that Sri K.V. Rao shares with me on how on one of his trips, somebody who was sitting next to him accidentally showed him a few samples of some food product, and then how they ended up doing some incredible business together for many years. So, those are chance things that really make a big difference. So as an entrepreneur, I would stay open to all the opportunities that come in. And I'm forever grateful to my mentor, my sponsor who got me into Herbalife, and he's always been a great role model. This is, for me, one of the most defining images of my entire career, and I just want to share this with you, is the person you see in this picture is my mentor. He's really held my hand even today. He's my first call-to person if I need anything. This is a picture when Wayne and I went boating, and when I came back and saw this picture, and I said, this actually is a lesson in entrepreneurship for anyone who wants to be an entrepreneur. अगर आप business करना चाहते हैं और maybe life lead करना चाहते हैं, for me, this is how I look at it. I'm just going to explain it from a business perspective or a professional perspective, but ये equally relevant है आपकी life के लिए भी. अगर इस तस्वीर में आगे मैं बैठा हूं और पीछे वेन बैठे हैं, if I was not sitting in this picture, or if you don't get into whatever you want to do physically, emotionally, mentally, it's not going to happen. So the first step in making something happen is for you to get into the boat. That is the most important thing. And the second is the boat itself. So whatever you choose to do, जो भी आप opportunity choose करें, whatever is the vehicle to get to your destination आप choose करें, make sure it is solid. Because इस boat में अगर hole है, no matter how hard you try, you're gonna drown. It is gonna happen. The third thing I really value the most here is the mentor in the boat with me. So no matter who we are, we all need mentors. So my mentor are the reason I am here today, and I am really, really grateful to them. Now imagine a situation where you want to row the boat and there is no water in the lake. You're not going to go anywhere. So whatever you choose, make sure you have a good system, a good ecosystem, a good support system, just like the water in this lake that can take you there. And a lot of times we design everything well, and then we don't do enough of the work we need to do. So I see that people have great ideas, people have great businesses, but they're not working hard enough. So jab tak isme hum chappu nahi chalayenge, we are not going to go anywhere. So that is one of the big lessons that I can share. And this is exactly my philosophy of the way I do my business, the way I teach other people how to do business. I'm fortunate that, I have thousands of coaches who work with me, and some of them work with us on a part-time or a full-time basis. But one of the lessons that I've learned being in business is it's all about people. It's not about what I want. It's not about how much money it is. It is always about what people want, what our customers want, what my team wants. And as long as I can help get my customers want what they want and what my team people want, everything else takes care of itself. So in terms of focusing in business, my philosophy is focus on people. And very early in my career, one of very successful businessmen sat me down and said, Jayant, the greatest investment you can ever make is about people. It's not about money. It's not about gold. It's not about property. It's about people. So if you, and I really, really would like to thank what you're doing, because you're investing in people. So it's really amazing. So it's about people, and, and one of the lessons that I have learned is your success depends on the value you add. If you add value in a few people's lives, great. If you add value in more lives, it's even better. I remember the first month I started my business, I was able to only help 5 people. I helped 5 people who could improve their health and lose weight. But today we help people in 5 continents. So that is really amazing. So we're really excited. But for us, it has always been about adding value. So success is all about adding value and enjoying what you do, and also building your, bringing in the right people. And I think one of the big life-changing decisions that I have had is and something which has really propelled my success in, in every sphere of life is to meet my wife Preeti, and, really with the blessings of our family, get married to each other. And that is really, really amazing. So, the right life partner can make all the big difference, but sometimes you just need to sit down with your life partner and people around you and make the right partnership. And I think I have been blessed that, Preeti and I share the same ideas, share the same vision, challenge each other. And a lot, in fact, big support from her is the reason that I can do what I do today. She's also brought in some great balance for me. So sometimes it's all about work. But I think Preeti has brought in that great balance. And every one of you, I'm sure, knows Preeti, and, have some of you been in sessions with her. So, she's so passionate about it, and she practices everything she talks about. So she brings in the balance in our life and keeps it happy and exciting, and my son adds to it. So being an entrepreneur doesn't mean you need to lose out. I think today's successful entrepreneurs do everything well. I think that is the key. I want to really thank Shri K.V. Rao, and I just am privileged that I can call him Dad. He is my go-to person for anything I need, whether it is personal or professional. And I always, he's also inspired me with his journey and his story. And every time I go to him, I come back with an inspiring story, an incident that really teaches me. And really, one of the biggest things of mentors and leaders is they can teach you through stories. And I think I want to thank Dad for really doing that for me all the time. So, one of the things I would also like to say, if you are wanting to be an entrepreneur, surround yourself with people who are better than you. They will make you more successful. And that's what been one of my secrets as well. This is one story I want to share with you. And this, I want to thank my parents, And when I was growing up, a little bit in my teenage stage, my mother once shared a story with me. And my mother said that, when my dad was very young, he saw a 3-star general's car go by. And as a young child, he told himself, one day I want to have that. And, that stuck with me. वो चीज मेरे दिमाग में हमेशा से है. That, when my dad decided, he ended up being one of the top generals in the army, being a doctor. He was also able to move to the Air Force, where he served as Director General of Medical Services and honorary surgeon to President Abdul Kalam. But that lesson has stayed in my life, that if you see something, you decide something, you go after it. And I want to thank my mother, because my mother has taught me something which got reinforced later in life. And she said, never miss anything. You study, you play, you do everything. And I think that is the way I live my life. That is the way I do my business. So that has been really amazing for me. So, my journey has all been about people. And I think when I look at the achievements of the people in this community and with what's happening in the world today, all I can say is there's a long way for me to go, and I'm just getting started. So for me, I want to thank all my mentors. I want to thank everyone at the BVI Foundation for inviting me. And once again, a big thank you to Tatoskar ji and ma'am. Thank you so much for inviting me. It's been a privilege. I hope I've been able to share some value from my personal life journey and experience back to the MC. And my apologies, I believe I've gone a little bit over time.
No problem, sir. What is such a treasure of experience? Initially, I thought, okay, I can take 1 or 2 notes when he's speaking, but I ended with a complete page of things. Okay, amazing, really amazing. The dream big and realize your passion. Okay, and take your plan seriously and learn from your failures. Okay, and success is adding value to the people and adding and enjoy what you do it. I love one more thing, what you advised by your mother, no? Don't miss anything. Such a great treasure of experience, sir. So today we are very thankful to you. Before I open for the session for the questionnaire sessions, I will welcome Jayant Maini sir parents, Air Marshal H.K. Maini and mother Dr. Renu Maini. Sir and madam, welcome. So now the session is open for the question. So we can fire a question to extract the knowledge, extract the wisdom from Jayant Maini.
I think Preeti Rao ji is also on the line.
Okay.
Preeti ji, welcome to the show. Thank you very much for joining.
Okay, who is the first one to fire a question? Okay, I will go first itself. Okay, sir, actually you given us such a comparison about the opportunity and giving an example of boat and water. So physically, emotionally, we have to be there, what we are doing it. So when we get into the boat, how can we know the depth of water? And what basis we know that what's the depth of water?
So what is very interesting is so a lot of people don't get into the boat because they first want to see how deep the water is. I think the fact that when you have a boat, it doesn't matter how deep the water is. The boat is meant to carry you over however deep the water might be. So I think personally, I would focus on building a solid boat and focusing on what we can do and not really worry about what can go wrong. I think I learned this. Sometimes we do paralysis by analysis. We analyze too much and we get paralyzed and we never start. So for a lot of people, they are still waiting to get into the boat. Once you identify the boat, get in it, keep making it better. And as you get better and better, you will slowly find the courage to go into deeper waters. And I think the only way to know what is the reality on the ground is to do it yourself. So I think once you can do it yourself, that's all that matters. So I hope I was able to answer your question.
Yeah.
I just looked at it a little differently.
No, it's definitely. Yeah. So jump into water, then we'll automatically be able to swim it. Thank you, sir. Thank you for it.
Focus on the boat. The depth of the water doesn't matter if the boat is steady.
Sure, sir. Definitely. Thank you. Yeah. Who's next?
We have a question from my side. Hello, Jayant. So my name is Lakshmish. I'm joining from Saudi Arabia. So one of the directors of the Bowser Vision. I was just wondering, because as you mentioned that all this is people oriented. This is all about people, and we need to invest in the people, right? So because will there be any acceptance criteria? Like when you approach people, so each one will have a different mindset, right? And have you faced any acceptance challenges from the people side? Some might not accept what you say, or some might pose as a challenging characters. And is it really required to impress people, or is it just say what it is and leave it for their acceptance or not?
I think I'm going to take a slightly.
Hi, good evening.
Sorry, give me just 1 second. My approach to this is look for the right people. Again, when we're looking at people, there are different kinds of people. Now, if you're looking at building a team of people, for example, you're bringing in business partners, or you're bringing in people who are going to work with you in your team, I think the most important thing is to see whether they'll fit into your culture. So for me, mindset and culture beats skill any day of the time. If I find the right person, the person can learn, grow, groom, but the person should fit into the culture that we aim to have. Unless you're in a position in the organization where you want to change the culture. So if the culture is great and you want someone, then the culture has to be fit. If you're looking to change the culture, then you need to bring in somebody who points in the direction of culture change. When it comes to customers acquisition, then I think it becomes a little bit more different. In terms of acquiring customers, then we really look at what exactly is an issue. So you might want to do something which is called a trans-theoretical model of change. And in the trans-theoretical model of change, if you're offering a product or a service, there is something called stage 1. Stage 1 is called pre-contemplation, where the person is just not open to the idea. And statistics show, and life experience shows, and studies show the fact that these kind of people, no matter how much you try, they're not going to come around. The success rate is going to be far below 2%. I'll give you an example. And then there is another category of person who may not be jumping at your idea, but are open to your idea. So I would focus time, effort, and energy on people who are in what we call stage 2, contemplation. And success is far greater there. To give you an example, the American government spent a lot of money doing smoking cessation programs. And when they spent a lot of money, they were spending money generically only to realize that there was no success. And when they approached this thing through the analysis that I just mentioned, and they spent most of their money on people who were contemplating, thinking about it, open to it, their success rate was far greater. So I think that could be a potential way to choose who is a better person for you. But no matter what we do, not everyone is going to come on board with our idea or with our product, with our service. So you just have to focus your energy on where you think you're going to get maximum returns or get maximum achievement of your goals. I hope that answers.
Well said, because basically it all depends on focusing on the right audience. Yeah. Great. Thank you very much.
Thank you for the question.
Yeah, let me ask you a question, Jayant. Thank you very much. So what is your opinion? Of course, you covered in your speech, but I want to hear specific points. And what is your opinion on fear of missing? There's a lot of cases where people just jump on because something is booming. And many people succeeded there. But when you jump, you'll fail. Yeah, please.
So thank you. This is a very, very interesting question, and I think when the sea is rising, all the ships shall rise. But to navigate the sea and to be a good sailor, you should be able to navigate it under all conditions. And that is why in my first question, I said, focus on the boat and not how deep the sea is, because you can't control the depth of the sea. All you can control is the boat. And it's the set of the sail that makes the difference. So, just because something is booming, so one needs to really look at, are you even interested in it? Do you have passion for it? There are so many businesses that are growing, but do you have interest in the business? Do you have skill for the business? Do you have passion for the business? One great lesson I learned from my mentor, and I think that has been one of the key lessons of my life. And one of the days, my mentor Rodney said to me, he says, Jayant, most of your life, so your life is going to be defined by the fact if you say yes to the right things. And once you have said yes to the right things, most of your life is going to be defined by saying no to everything else. So I think for people, if they make the right choice, things are going to grow and prosper. So I think it's about put your hand on your heart, as they did in that movie, Three Idiots. And if you feel all is well, then I think you may have a chance in that business, in that profession. But if it feels like a stretch, like it was in that movie with Amir Khan and those kids, they had interest, someone had an interest in painting but was chasing engineering, and would be a disaster in life. So I think it's important to know where your passion is, where your strengths are, and then make the choice. Because just because something is growing, just because cricket is a popular sport, I'm not going to be Virat Kohli. So I think that is my approach to that.
Hi, sir. This is Basant here.
Hi.
So I have one question, like in any business, or to see who is your next, like how do you identify, or even you become a mentor? You are very successful. You mentioned that you got a really good mentor, but when it comes to mentoring others, what are the qualities you look for, and what are the values you pass on?
So, in my business, when I am selecting someone to work with or someone to mentor, I look for behavior, I look for actions, and I look for the fact that if somebody is willing. So if somebody displays the right behavior, has a good mindset, is willing to learn, is willing to work, is open to what you're discussing. I think that is what I personally look for. So I look for behavior, I look for actions, but I never as a mentor impose my ideas on someone, because I believe if job of a mentor is actually to show possibilities. And that's the way I look at being a mentor to someone, to help somebody maybe look at their true potential, look at an idea, look at a situation differently. It's really make them more independent. So for me, I would look at a fact that somebody I have mentored doesn't need me anymore. And I think that is what for me would be the fact that I'm a good mentor. If somebody needs me all the time, then I think I've failed as a mentor. So that is one yardstick that I would look at. I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, Jayanti, namaste. This is Praveen. I have one question. I know a lot of people, successful people, have, they are very good at time management, right? As we would like to hear from you, how would you manage your time? Because being such a busy person, giving some time to family and some time for us like society, how would you manage the time? Because this kind of question, the answer is very important in terms of the upcoming career young people, because I strongly believe in the time management, because the time management will, even though if you're not very good at some skills, but the time management will give you, a path, a starting point to the success. So how we would like to hear from you.
And thank you for asking this question. So I'm just going to make it a little bit elaborate. So I believe that for one to be successful, you need to be good at many things. So number one, you need to be good at managing yourself. So as I said, you need to be good at managing yourself emotionally, mentally, physically. So I think it starts with that. It's managing yourself. It also then, and I'm going to link it to time management then. One also needs to be good at financial management. You need to be good with money. I can't call myself an expert, but you need to be good with managing money. One needs to be good with managing time, and there are ways and means to do it. One needs to be good at managing systems, managing people, and managing family. So I always share this with my team that if you want to build a big business or a big organization, organization word is based on the word organize. So if you can organize yourself in these 6 different aspects, one can make progress, and everything needs to be in the right balance. Now, once this is in good balance, then you need to see whether you need to spend major time doing major things. Sometimes we end up spending major time doing minor things, and we end up spending minor time doing major things. And one of the reasons for that is that everything else is out of balance. So once you establish a balance there, then I would look at prioritizing. What are the most important things to do? What are what are high impact things to do? And then I would go about doing that. And I think for me, the simplest and the biggest lessons here, and my dad's listening, and he would know this for a fact that I'm still not great at it, is making a list. So I've learned it from my dad. He would always make a list and do things. And I'm not great at it, but I think just simple things are just making a list and focusing and prioritizing it would make a big difference.
Thank you very much, sir. Really,
thank you.
Great I could get from.
Hi, Jayant sir. Thank you so much for the insightful talk. This is Anush here. Initially, when you talked about when you started out, you failed in your business, and that kind of gave you a lot of lessons. I'm curious to know, how do you handle the unknowns and uncertainties? What framework do you think about when you're looking into new businesses, and how do you handle that emotionally and drive it forward?
Okay. So I think I have always, so for me, I can give you my personal approach. Okay. My personal approach has been, I've chosen my business and I'm happy in it. I am now only exploring opportunities of growth within my business. So that is my approach to it. There are people who would succeed in multiple business. And when I chose my business, I looked at whether this business has the time horizon to last my lifetime and beyond. I happen to be in the health wellness industry, and this is one industry which has never faced a recession. It has never gone down, whether it has been a war, whether it has been something else. So for me, when I made the choice, I made a conscious decision to be in an industry where I knew there would be growth. Second, I chose to spend time looking at the model, and I knew the model and the company I am choosing has the ethics and everything else that it is going to outlast me, and it is going to be something that my children can enjoy. And I have consistently made that decision that whatever I'm doing in terms of expansion, in terms of growth, in terms of starting new ventures, everything is within this industry. So I've kind of chosen that industry. For some people, they would like my approach. For some people, they want to be in different verticals. You just need to decide what is more comforting for you. It is a great idea to have your hands in multiple pies. But for me, I want all my pies to be in my chosen industry. And that is something which I am more comfortable with. For some people, they want their hands in multiple pies. Somebody wants to be in IT and this. So you need to see what excites you more and then put your hands in those pies. And again, if you look at the boat I showed, once you're ready physically, emotionally, mentally, once you're in the boat, once you have the mentor, once you have the right systems in place and you're putting enough effort, you can be successful in any business you want to. In fact, sometimes you can get into a seemingly crowded space and become very, very successful by innovating. So it really depends on what value you are going to add and where your heart lies. I hope that helps.
Yes, that definitely. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Any more questions? If there are no questions, shall we move forward? Now, can I request BVI founder Narendra Tatuskarji to say a few words and address the session. You're on mute, sir. Can you please unmute yourself?
Yes. Audible now?
Yeah. Yes.
Good evening, friends. National President Jayashree Tatuskar, BVI Floating Club President Shri Manohar Bodke, Secretary Praveen, the most dynamic, outstanding speaker, my friend Shri Jayant Maini, respected Foundation Trust, Shri K.V. Raoji, and my fellow visionaries, ladies and gentlemen. I also recognize the presence of Jayant's parents and his better half, Preeti ji. Good evening and Ganesh Chaturthi greetings to all of you. Today, Sri Jayant, you spoke so well. Before that, on behalf of BVI Floating Club, I express my thankfulness to you for accepting our invitation and taking out your treasurable time for our talk show. Please accept our sincere appreciation for the outstanding presentation you made during your presentation. Was fascinating. It was very interesting to hear about your success story. We believe that the knowledge you have shared will help immensely to the upcoming Bausar youngsters. Thank you for a most engaging talk. My dear Bausar young minds, to get success, you have to strive on with tireless enthusiasm. Strive on to reach your goal. Without a goal, the best in you can never come to express itself. No doubt you will face by heaping many impossible hurdles in our direct path to our goal. But with enthusiasm, fearless of the obstacles, smiling in self-confidence when we dash towards the goal, all the seemingly terrible obstacles move away like shadows. Friends, in life, the glory lies not in the quarry, but in chase. The success is not in the trophy won, but in the race run. I would like to share with you a secret to success. दोस्तों, एक स्मॉल स्टोरी आपको बताना चाहूँगा. देखिए, एक बहुत सारा कपल, दोनों में झगड़ा हो गया. बहुत जोर से बीबी मियाँ का झगड़ा हो गया और बीबी रूठ के घर से निकल गई. उन्होंने समझा कि चलो अच्छा हो गया, पीड़ा तो चली गई करके. लेकिन जब सुबह हो गए तो चाय बनाना है, खुद चाय बनाना है, नाश्ता करना है, घर का काम भी, घर क्लीन रखना है. तभी बीवी की याद आने लगी. वो दोपहर के बाद ढूंढने शुरू कर गया. सब रिलेटिव्स के घर को गया और उन्होंने पता किया कि आपके पास मेरी वाइफ आई है क्या? सबने बोला नहीं आई है. तो बहुत मुंह छोटा करके जा रहा था. तभी एक रिलेटिव्स ने उनको बताया कि उधर एक भविष्य बोलने वाला है, उनके पास आप पूछो. तो वो उनके पास गया और उन्होंने बताया कि मेरी बेबी ऐसा घर छोड़ के निकल गई है. तो वो भविष्य बोलने वाले ने उनको बताया, एक काम करो, गांव के बाहर एक श्री राम का मंदिर है और वो मंदिर में 11 दिन आप सुबह उठ के प्रसाद लेके, स्नान करके प्रसाद लेके उनको प्रार्थना करो, आपको आपकी बेबी मिल जाएंगे. पोपा बेचारा 11 दिन सुबह जल्दी उठता था, निवेद ले जाके श्री राम के मंदिर को पूजा करके वापस आता था. 11 दिन के बाद भी बीबी आई नहीं. वो बहुत नर्वस हो गया, छोटा मुंह करके वापस आ रहा था. थोड़ा मंदिर गांव के बाहर था और एक रिमोट प्लेस से उनको आवाज आई, इधर आओ करके. वो देखा इधर उधर कोई नहीं था उधर, और आवाज आई, इधर आओ करके. तभी एक छोटा सा हनुमान जी का मंदिर था, उधर गया. हनुमान जी के मंदिर से आवाज आई उनको, आप एक काम करो, मेरे को पता है आपकी बीबी गुम गई है, सुबह उठ के स्नान करके निवेद लेके आके पूजा करो, आपको आपकी बेबी मिल जाएंगी. दूसरे दिन सुबह जल्दी उठ के हनुमान जी को मंदिर गए, पूजा की, निवेद चढ़ाया और वापस घर आए तो बीबी आई थी। वैसे ही उसका बीबी का हाथ पकड़ के वो हनुमान जी के मंदिर में आ गए। जाके हनुमान जी को बोले, हनुमान जी आपके भगवान प्रभु श्री रामचंद्र, उनको मैंने 11 दिन निवेद चढ़ाया, पूजा की, बीबी नहीं मिली, आपका खाली एक दिन ही पूजा किया तो मेरे को बेबी मिल गई। हनुमान जी हंसकर बोले, देखो जो काम जिससे करना है उससे कराना है। जब श्री राम जी की बीबी सीता जी गुम हो गई तो मैं ही उधर श्रीलंका जाके उनको पता किया। दोस्तों, जो काम जिससे करना उससे ही कराना है, तभी आपको सक्सेस मिलता है। हम बीवीआई के अंदर ही, मैंने एज ए फाउंडर, मेरे को पता है जो काम जिससे कराना है उसको ही हम देते हैं। यही हमको लाइफ के अंदर लीडरशिप में सीखना है। थैंक यू, धन्यवाद।
Thank you, sir. Now, I request BVI Foundation National President, Srimati Jayashree ji, to say a few words.
मैं क्या ज्यादा कुछ नहीं बोल सकती हूँ। या तो आज का सेशन बहुत ही अच्छा था और जयंत जी बहुत ही अच्छा बोल दिए सब, और उनका सक्सेस जो स्टोरी है ना वो हमको शेयर किए, इसलिए मैं उनको धन्यवाद देती हूँ। हमारा जो हम उनको इनवाइट थे, वो आए इधर, हमको इतना अच्छा सबको ये किए, उसके लिए मैं धन्यवाद देती हूँ। बाकी कुछ
Thank you, madam. Now I request Mr. Lakshmisha, Director of BVI Floating Club, deliver the concluding notes.
Thank you, Ashok. Thank you, Ashok ji. And I would like to thank all the attendees today, and especially Mr. Jayant Maini ji for an inspiring talk. And as Ashok ji was mentioning, so I started with a small piece of paper to take the note, and I called my daughter to bring a notebook. Yeah. So because a couple of things, Jayant, because the most the learning for me from today, at least from my side, is, so you mentioned that life we live is the life we design, right? So which is excellent and well said, and this will remain in my brains forever. And the way you explained your journey, right, you certainly took us through your life, and we could feel that we were there as part of your life journey. You made us walk through your life. Yeah. And most importantly, we could correlate some of the instances that you mentioned with our own lives. Yeah. And we could visit back and think, okay, so if I would have done like this, so the situation might be different. Yeah. And certain things that you mentioned, that when the student is ready, the teacher shall appear. Yeah. So dhundne se bhagwan bhi milta hai. So basically getting a right guru or getting a right mentor, I think you're the most fortunate. And unfortunately, many of us, or most of us, will not get the right guru, because everyone needs a guru to take us through or cruise us through this turbulence life sometimes. Yeah. And we should be open to the opportunities. And you said it well, it's all about people, right? Whatever we achieve in life, whatever we lose in life, end of the day we should be between our people, right? So even for the joyness, even for the sadness, yeah. And we need to always invest in people. Very well said. And there is a lot of things that we can take home through your talk show that we have made successfully. And I would like to thank very much for your taking time out and sharing your story with us. Thank you very much. Over to you, Ashok ji.
Thank you, Lakshmish. Yeah, Manohar, please go ahead. Yeah.
Srinivas Devleji.
Okay, thank you. Thank you everyone. Thank you. Congratulations to all BVI Floating Club members. आपने तो आज बहुत बढ़िया कार्यक्रम ऑर्गेनाइज किए। जयंत मैनी सर जैसे एक स्पीकर को बुला के आज इतना अच्छा उनका एक सक्सेस स्टोरी हम लोगों से शेयर किए। लेकिन मेरा 1-2 मिनट में मेरा और मैनी सर का थोड़ा बताना चाह रहा हूँ। मैं भी 2 साल हुए रहेंगे, लगभग 2-2.5 साल के पहले मैनी सर से मेरा बातचीत हुआ था। उनके जो हर्बल लाइफ के बारे में और बाद में जो उनका ऑर्गेनाइजेशन के बारे में मेरे को बता रहे थे। लेकिन वो टाइम को मेरा एक गवर्नमेंट इंडस्ट्री था। अनफॉर्चुनेटली क्या हो गया, वो टाइम को वो बोल रहे थे अभी देखो हेल्थ सेक्टर में, हेल्थ और फिटनेस सेक्टर में बहुत बढ़िया फायदा होने वाला है, उसमें बहुत अच्छा रहता है बोल के। लेकिन पता नहीं, टाइम भी आना चाहिए। वो टाइम को तो मैं नहीं सुना। लेकिन 2 साल के बाद गवर्नमेंट इंडस्ट्री, आपको मालूम है बिकॉज ऑफ दिस कोविड बहुत सारे लोगों को भी नुकसान होते गया। लेकिन मैं पर्सनली मैं भी टेस्ट करना चाह रहा था। दिल्ली से थोड़ी सैंपल्स लेके आया था मैं हर्बल लाइफ के प्रोडक्ट्स। लाने के बाद आपको बताना चाह रहा हूं, मेरा फास्टिंग शुगर वाज 280 और पीपीबीएस 350 क्रॉस होता था। इतना बहुत तो डायबिटिक था मैं। लेकिन लास्ट टाइम हाउस वार्मिंग सेरेमनी के लिए मैं जब भी प्रीति जी और मैंने सर उनका, जयंत मैंने सर उनके घर पे गया था, तो उन्होंने गिफ्ट से मेरे को हर्बल लाइफ के थोड़े प्रोडक्ट्स दिए थे मुझे। तो चलो ट्राई करेंगे बोल के वो ट्राई कर लिया, अच्छा लगने लगा। बाद में उसके साथ में थोड़ा फिजिकल एक्टिविटीज डेली, वो क्या है, वो मॉर्निंग कैसे लेना है क्या नहीं, थोड़ा पूछ पूछ के लेते गया। और मैंने जैसे साइकिलिंग स्टार्ट किया, बिलीव इट और नॉट, टोटली डायबिटिक मेरा रिवर्स भी हो चुका है। एक्चुअली वो कंपनी का नहीं है, लेकिन मेरा पर्सनल एक्सपीरियंस मैं शेयर कर रहा हूं आपको। साथ ही साथ जो मैं गारमेंट बिजनेस में इतना लॉस हुआ था ना, बाद में मेरे सन, ही इज ग्रेजुएट इन कंप्यूटर एप्लीकेशंस, उसको मैं ज्वाइन कराया। ज्वाइन करने के बाद उसका नेटवर्क बढ़ते गया है, वो बहुत खुशी से है। कभी भी देखो जैन सर जैसे बोलते हैं, ड्रीम जब भी हम देखते हैं ना, वो रात को नींद में ड्रीम देखने में मतलब नहीं, दिन में जो ड्रीम देखते हैं वो डेफिनेटली उसको कुछ ना कुछ शेप दे सकते हैं। आज बहुत खुशी हो रहा है, जयंत सर का एक पहला सेशन अटेंड कर रहा हूं मैं। ऑफकोर्स उन्होंने तो बहुत सारे वीडियो शेयर करते रहेंगे, लेकिन लाइव पे देख रहा हूं। रियली थैंकफुल टू हिम, बिकॉज फ्लोटिंग क्लब के तरफ से इतना बढ़िया टॉक शो, ऐसे तो हर टॉक शो भी टॉप में ही चलते रहता है, ये थोड़ा और एक फेदर ऐड हो गया हमारे बीवीआई फ्लोटिंग क्लब के। थैंक यू, 2 मिनट बात करने के लिए टाइम दिया मुझे। थैंक यू वन एंड ऑल।
Thank you, Srinivas, sharing your experience with us. Okay. Now I request Mr. Praveen Bodke, Secretary, BVI Floating Club, to deliver a vote of thanks.
Namaskar. Myself, Praveen Bodke, Secretary of BVI Floating Club. First, I would like to thank BVI leaders for giving me this opportunity. I would like to thank our today's guest, Sri Jayant Maini ji, for spending time and sharing his valuable experience, achievements, which would be helpful for many of young early career people in our community. BVI Floating Club expresses gratitude to you, sir, for sharing the values and culture that you have nurtured and built upon. I would like to thank our Honorable Founder, Sri Narayan Rao Tatskarji, for all the guidance and support. Every time I see some sessions, he'll come up with a wonderful story. And the story, the narration is also such a great way of narration that you'll addict to that listening of his stories. Thank you very much, sir, for giving us such a great story tours. And my heartfelt thanks to our national president, Srimati Jayashree Tatskarji, for her continuous support towards BVI Floating Club. I would like to thank our BVI Foundation Chairman, Sri KV Rao ji, for letting us know how important these kind of talk shows are and how it can impact one's life. And thanks for your suggestions, sir. We would definitely try to implement the QA sessions in more effective manner. We just started. I would like to thank our National Secretary, Sri Satish Jadhav ji, for his continuous support and guidance. I would like to thank our Chairman, Sri Dr. Satvik Rangolji, for his valuable inputs in conducting this kind of talk shows. I would like to thank our National President-elect 2022, Sri Srinivas Divaleji, for your continuous feedback and suggestion in running these kind of talk shows. I would like to thank Kumari Meghna Daipule for her excellent recitation of Gayatri Mantra, which filled the divine environment before we kick off the meeting. I would like to thank our BVI Floating Club President, Sri Manohar Bodke, for delivering his welcome speech. Since inauguration, we know how excited he was to conduct our first talk show with Mr. Jayant. The kind of follow-ups motivated the entire team to make the event successful. As you wish, I'm sure the talk show is a grand successful one. I would like to take this opportunity to congratulate the entire BVI Floating Club team. Similarly, I would like to thank BVI Floating Club Treasurer, Srimati Anita Sarvadeji, for introducing today's speaker and his achievements. I would like to thank our director, Sri Lakshmi Mahidakarji, for concluding the event. I also would like to thank our director, Sri Ashok Bhaskarji, for his amazing MC of today's event. I also would like to extend my thanks to our directors, Sri Ratnakar Undaleji and Sri Basant Rangdolji, for your continuous back-end support. On this event, I would like to thank the proud parents of Mr. Jayant, Mother Sri Dr. Renu Maini, Father Sri H.K. Maini, Air Marshal. I would like to thank the better half of Mr. Jayant, Sri Preeti Rauji, for her continuous support to Mr. Jayant to become a successful man and add a great value in people's life. I would like to thank the Nitya Bhakti Sadhana members, Gajendranath Malodi ji, Prakash sir, Srimati Shashi Suresh ji, Murali sir, Dr. D.G. Basutkar ji, and all the dignitaries. Finally, I would like to thank all the BVI Floating Club members, BVI dignitaries, and all participants for your time in attending today's talk show and making it a successful event. Thank you one and all. Namaste.
Thank you, Praveen. Such a nice vote of thanks.
Yeah.
Before concluding the session, I request all the youngsters and NRIs who are there wherever in this world join BVI Floating Club and enrich the club with their experience and learning and knowledge. Because be a part of the founders' vision. They carry the baton of friendship, service, and leadership to the next generation. Thank you, one and all. And Jai Hind, Shubharatri.